hoping you'll be able to help us with figure out like appropriate funding and stuff. So are that may be a little on the shorter side, so let roll to that. Let's start. So Goblins Go Up. Hold together a unwieldy flying machine and help your goblins go up in the air in a world full of enemies, hazards, and explosions. Every attempt, a new experiment, every failure is part of the fun. So we have a nice and easy grid-based building system. You construct the vehicle by adding various parts and components to the grid. Parts have different properties, weight, durability, features, cost. So pick wisely. Some are a bit more risky than others.
Also, the launch mode. In launch mode, your goal is to go up. So you're trying to get as high as possible. You click on your parts to activate them, like turning on your rocket engines, hot air balloons, firing cannons. The main obstacles are navigating the twists and turns of the cave environment, avoiding things like stalactites, and bending off a variety of enemies with unique mechanics. So we're really aiming for like a bunch of obstacles that each have unique, engaging mechanics. You've got a bunch of parts, tools at your disposal. There's always more than one way to solve a problem, that kind of thing. Another thing to mention, the environment is destructible and the world persists between runs. So it's totally viable strategy to, explode a big tunnel and get past that. It's that kind of thing. See, you're already on. All right. Most of the runs will end in a catastrophic but beautiful explosion by yes. But that's part of the fun. It's fun to watch your creation, go out in a blaze of glory. If you do eat your record, your building budget will increase, and at certain milestones, you'll unlock new parts. So there's a progression system. Even if you don't make progress that way, you're still experimenting and learning and problem solving and slowly whittling away at the cave environment from craters from past runs like this.
So why Goblins Go Up? This thing appeals to both the very cerebral aspect of building and engineering and the much more primitive nature of destruction and explosions, things like that. So it has the easy 2D building system, so it's really easy to get into. Quick iteration, so that you don't feel pressured with each run. It's perfect sandbox where hurling chaos and cute indestructible goblins is always a plus. And of course, explosions.
Right. So currently our game is in a very early stage. We have a Steam page. You can just list it on there. We have a demo. You can play it on itch.io. There's a QR code to our link tree. About it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So first off, I know you have two customers and my son and my brother, because they definitely love this kind of stuff. They try to build an airship in every single game that they do. In fact, it looked very much like the first one they built in Little Big Planet. So there's obviously there's an audience for this, and a lot of people love this kind of stuff. The one thing I didn't quite understand, is it like you build that ship for like a one-time run, kind of like a Kerbal Space Program, or like you see if it's a success or fail launch, or is there more gameplay where like you can keep going and, kind of, platform kind of level to see how far you get her? I mean, how's the gameplay work?
Yeah, so you're navigating, basically, this first starting area, you start out in a cave, so you're navigating around various obstacles as well as enemies. So trying to, you can launch off parts of your vehicle as rockets, or try and stay silent to sneak past them, and your vehicle stays there, so you can reuse it for another run if you just got unlucky.
Okay. Yeah, because I was asking that because of like the replayability. Basically, like, how is it just like the one time thing that this, it's always going to crash, or is there a success or a progression, all that kind of stuff? Yeah, but Yeah, I mean, great. It looks fantastic, and I think the presentation kind of really like touched on everything you need. It was very succinct and clear. You know, just see it might do it, and like the little demo with the cute little comedy stuff in the end was just perfect way to end it.
I love it. It's really fun. Art's really cute. My one thing of feedback I think is off the top, show more of a title slide. Because you mentioned your first slide you're building goblin crafts, and I think go to the next slide and you just either have GIFs or just stills of various crafts you're building, just all different crazy ones. Explain it real quick, then hop onto that next one that shows all the gameplay. Because I think you explained it well, but I wanted to like see it. I like what the hell's a flying Brett, whatever. But if I saw a few, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, great job.
I'm on that. I might actually even though it's not the order of the gameplay, I might show the most visually exciting thing of things going up and then going boom first, and then explain more of the details on like, and you get to build each ship each time. So it just kind of gives people more context in what you're building, because they don't really get that right in the beginning. And I think people would kick it early, because I didn't really pick it up until slide 2. And to be honest, I would think about like potentially tweaking your name, because when I hear Goblin Go Up, for some reason, I'm like thinking of it's like a Ursula, like strategy game almost. And so maybe like Goblins Go Boom or Goblin something else, where they're talking about the explosion and the chaos and the quirky building, messing things up, and it's all fun. I just didn't get back from the world to the words itself.
Okay. And first of all, great job. Like the presentation. I like there's animations on almost every slide, had something moving going on. I really like there's something visually to look at. I played a lot of Bad Piggies, and to me this is a very similar gameplay of build the craft and get to a thing. But what I didn't get was the point. Why are the goblins doing this? Why, like for the Bad Piggies games, they were building their crafts to go up so they could steal the eggs. But I didn't really get what the point of the story is and why you're going to keep playing, keep going and progressing, getting things along the way. Just like Bad Piggies, I think this is poised to be a good live ops game where you can sell glue to keep your craft together longer or whatever other quirky things they do in that game. And you talked about the progression system, but it wasn't on the slide. You talked about it. I think we need a slide that tells you what the progression system is and what the core loop is. But other than that, great job.
Yeah, the lore is basically the goblins saw, wizards in their towers and kings in their castles, and assume the higher up you are, the more you see, the more you control. So they're trying to get as nice they can to
take over the cover. Yeah, we need a slide to that. We need an example, a picture of the kingdom and their point. Like, we got to get there. It's like, yeah, that can be your intro slide, and then just kind of breaking up a gameplay from there, how they actually accomplish that goal.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, overall good job, and I just think we need to get the presentation nailed down to explain what the point is of the game. But yeah, great job.